education is to turn mirrors into windows. This quote resonated very closely with the Team Soccer, dedicated in working with OLPC to provide platforms in achieving solutions for children around the globe. With that being said, I'd like to introduce and welcome you to Team Soccer here from the University of British Columbia. My name is Taha Razwan, and I'm joined by Sheena Sandhu, Amrita Puri, Gurleen Singh Jasser, and Nishank Sharma. We recognize the challenge of the OLPC case as being providing 10 million laptops within 5 years on the high level. However, we found challenges here which are much deeper rooted. We identified two main challenges. The first challenge being the scalability and the financial viability tied with providing 10 million laptops within 5 years. Our second and biggest challenge in our eyes was securing government and deep-rooted cultural support and backing within the nations that we are targeting. With that being said, in our strategy, what we aim to do is, instead of providing 10 million laptops to 10, 20, or 50 countries across the globe, what we hope to do with OLPC is to target only those nations where OLPC can make the biggest impact. What we propose then for OLPC to do within 5 years is to target the nations of Brazil, Sri Lanka, Uganda, and Botswana, based on criteria such as progressive government, progressive education system, internet penetration, and finally, investment in education. With that being said, I'm now going to turn it to Amrita Puri to provide recommendations associated with the 4 targeted nations.
Thank you. So we've come up with a lot of recommendations and a lot of new ideas based on 2 pillars, innovation and partnership. The first thing that I'd like to touch upon is a new disruptive business model. So I'm just going to touch upon this, and Sheena is going to talk about it in more detail in our implementation plan. So we suggest that OLPC actually branch out into 2 organizations, one for-profit organization and then keep its non-profit wing as well. So what we suggest is that OLPC go into digital solutions, provide like digital solution provider for private schools in the countries that it wants to penetrate OLPC into. So we hope that it can plow its profits back into OLPC from this in this way. And the key benefit in this way is that all the money that's being generated in the country is being plowed back into that country to educate its poorest children. And Sheena's going to talk more to that. The next thing that I want to highlight is, new ways to produce. Does OLPC really need to produce all of its laptops in Taiwan? And we don't really think so. We believe that if OLPC produces laptops in the countries that it wants to penetrate, it might be more of an incentive for the governments to accept OLPC strategy, and it might give them a buy-in as well. The other thing is, we suggest that OLPC have more strategic alliances in 2 ways. One would be corporate partnerships, and the second would be partnerships with NGOs. So we did a lot of research on corporate partnerships, and we believe that organizations such as MTN, Uganda Telecom are great partners for OLPC. And in the NGO sector, we believe that the NGOs which have similar goals to that of OLPC in promoting education in the 4 countries that we spoke about would be very, very good to partner with. And such NGOs could be NEPAD, SchoolNet, Microsoft partners in learning, and this would benefit both parties in turn. Next, we thought about new content solutions and how OLPC can make its content more nationalized rather than just language, like change the language. How can it be more nationalized content? And how can the content be more localized for the country? What this will do is align the goals of the nation to the goals of OLPC. And this is not just going to be OLPC distributing laptops. This is going to be a way for the government to talk to its people, to communicate with its people, and OLPC is going to be a vehicle to do that for the government. And next, we thought about new ways to gain buy-in from communities. So we want to move away from the charity model as well, even in the non-profit area. We wanted to not just do charity, but we adopted the cook stoves model. And so rather than just giving away laptops, we want the community to feel invested in the technology. And that's why we have we want to instate an attendance mandate wherein if people have attended so many hours of school, they are eligible to participate in the OLPC program. This is definitely going to be more meaningful than just giving out laptops. And I'm going to hand it over to Sheena to talk more about the implementation plan now.
All right, now for the disruptive part. All right, so our model basically is composed of two tiers. The first being OLPC, being run the way it is, a non-for-profit organization. Now, a branch of that would be Liberal Mind Labs. Liberal Mind Labs would have a closed source software. This software solution that would then leverage government partnerships as well as the private education sector. That's mostly the secondary level. Now, the way it would happen at the university and government level is that we would establish programs, and research has suggested Brazil, for instance, adopts Linux within their university program. So you build the software at that level, then you implement it at the post-secondary level in the private sector institutions. You leverage this, and this would be the profit-making model. So the profit that would be made from selling to the secondary level education would then be leveraged and put into OLPC, and that would be a sustainable, self-sustaining model. Now, in addition, and we really feel that in order to sustain this cohesive education model, there would be a buddy system. So the buddy system would essentially be the post-secondary student having a virtual interaction with the individual with the OLPC laptop, and that would be the core student. That way, they could troubleshoot, and it would just promote just sharing knowledge and mitigate the gap between the education levels. Moving forward, and the financial viability.
Thanks. In looking at the financial viability of our for-profit business arm, we looked at the entire private education sector in Brazil of 8.4 million students. We then conducted a sensitivity analysis projecting we capture 4% of this market in the worst case and 6% of this market in the best case. How we came up with these ratios? Well, we found through research that the private education market in Brazil is not well penetrated. There is low competition levels, thus giving us a first movers or a possible advantage. We also based our pricing strategy on a company called Educom in India. This company provides digital solutions for schools within the country. We took their pricing model of $14 per student per month, as well as their contribution margin of 48%, and came to our specifics and our profits. Based on the numbers that we provided, we calculated up to 1.6 million laptops being generated through this self-sustaining arm, being fed right back into OLPC at the ground level.
All right, so what do we do tomorrow? This is the timeline. So essentially, we penetrate two major countries, and that would be Sri Lanka and Brazil. Once we do that, we establish local production facilities within this region. Also, at the same time, we do implement teacher training programs. Now, as mentioned yesterday, there are some good, well-established teaching programs. However, we'd like to model that and have a streamlined process that we can use as a framework moving forward. After that, we would then expand using these as champion countries to neighboring countries that are within the region and proliferate this way. Then moving forward to the risk analysis. Now, with every plan, there are risks. Now, two major factors with risk are with regards to corporate and NGO sponsorship. Now, the way we feel this would be good is, or the way we can mitigate this is by leveraging brands that are within each country. Being an NGO that has an established VSAT connection, that would be NetHope. And then if that doesn't work, the contingency plan would be to leverage the private partnerships, and that would be our software solution. Now again, the lack of sales of Liberal Mind Labs, and that would be the closed source software. We understand that there may be some initial resistance from schools to adapt this, but we feel that because we are going to apply these software solutions to the country and have specific programs in place. For instance, we use My Finance Lab in our education system. We would then cater something towards their education system. With these risks and our plan, we do feel that the underlying themes of our presentation are partnerships and innovation. Partnerships being the corporate side and the NGO side, innovations being Liberal Mind Labs. Taking these together, we feel that not only will we be able to fulfill the 10 million laptops in 5 years, but also establish a meaningful education plan. And with this, thank you, and I conclude our presentation.
You have 2 minutes left for Q&A.
So you have an interesting model of using a for-profit company to kind of subsidize the would argue that's what Intel essentially has done. Why do you feel that they haven't had the penetration, but you guys would with this? Because they're doing, they're selling for profit in Brazil and then turning around and doing their subsidized version.
Well, actually, the way that we feel this is going to work is that we did establish the university level plan, and that we would intertwine building software with the schools and then pushing it forward to the private sector.